If you want to win at doubles, then this video is absolutely essential. We're about to go through some mindset stuff. It's connected intimately with strategy and tactics. Let's go ahead and go right to the court. So here's the scenario here. I'm getting fed the first ball by an assistant coach. He's just feeding me a ground stroke on this side, and I'm going to rally all my shots cross court. And the whole mindset here, the goal, the focus of this drill is we're focusing on activity level, poaching, movement, being involved in the middle by the net player. And there's 5 or 6 points here that we're going to play through. And I need you to see the pattern that's happening. But then more importantly, I want you to pay attention to the reaction or the response as these points play out from this player at the net. So that's the scenario. Let's go ahead and start playing through. So watch what happens. So first point, she gets involved, and she volleys down low to the feet of the other net player. She gets a weak ball back, and she lobs for the win. Second point, opponent tries to lob her. She hits an overhead, puts it away. And by the way, it's her activity level up here around the net why that lob happened in the first place. We'll come back to that in a second. Third point. So opponent tries to beat her down the alley this time, and I don't know if you caught it in real time, but the ball was in fact out. Here's where it lands. I mean, you know, probably 4 or 6 inches. And I want you to pay attention to her reaction and response. And I kind of question her about it. Listen and watch what happens again real quick. And I'm like, yeah, it was wide. Like, you won the point. And she's like, yeah. But notice the dramatic response. Okay, so next point.
I'm not sure. Good play, guys.
She intercepts that one, puts the ball away. Next point. But by the way, this is not edited like out of order or out of sequence. All these points really happen back to back. So I'm cutting out some dead time in between. But this is like the true sequence that happened, just for context. Next point. So watch her reaction again. So this is critical. There's a reason. Why is this player back here at the baseline trying to lob her, trying to hit down her alley, in general try to avoid her? It's because this player is doing her job. She's getting involved. She's intercepting the ball. She's putting it away. That's putting pressure on that other baseline player. And that other baseline player, wisely, is trying to find some kind of solution to this problem by trying to figure out, how can I go over her? How can I go around her safely? But each time she tries to go around her and misses, here's where this one lands. Again, about probably 4 inches or so, maybe 5 inches wide. Listen to the visceral, dramatic reaction from this net player that I'm playing with.
You're winning, Catherine. You're winning.
I'm yelling at her like you're. Not only is she winning, but she's dominating. This is I think 6. I got one more point here, real quick. Here, watch this last point. Again, this is all back to back to back. Sorry, there's another one. Is this the 7th point in a row? And she's just getting involved and just crushing and dominating, putting tremendous pressure on her opponents. So that baseline opponent is rightly trying to navigate through this difficult situation where my partner is being a force in the middle of the net. And so she's trying to find a way around, over, through, whatever she can do. And in the meantime, rather than my partner celebrating that and being like, sweet, I'm totally manipulating that other team, I'm in the driver's seat. I'm the one that's steering the ship. I'm the one that's in control here. And not only that, but she's rolling. She's crushing, just winning point after point after point after point. And yet, this is such a shame. This is such a sad thing. It has been just baked into the psyche of everyday tennis players that if this ball right here goes around her and goes in play, that it is a terrible, no good, loser, kind of outcome. If this goes in the alley, then shame on you, right? Let me know in the comments down below. Have you experienced being alley shamed when you don't perfectly cover your alley? And the very first time you get beat down the line when you're the net player, everybody on the court is like, oh, like whoever, Sally got burned, down the line, Steve got burned, and everybody's like, like you got caught. And so there's this visceral reaction that experienced doubles players frequently have because their partners have so overvalued this tiny piece of real estate down the line. I'm sorry, wrong thing. This is such a small target as opposed to, and I mean, what's funny in this particular instance, this player is feeling extremely tempted to try to figure this out when she has a much easier option, and that would be to just simply hit the ball cross court. But the thing is, if my partner is doing a good job, frankly, let me rephrase that. If my partner is doing her job, she's going to be involved in that center window. She's going to be intercepting a lot of balls in that zone, which she was doing. And if any baseline player feels like that option is being taken away, they're not left with any other good option. This is not a good option. Trying to thread the needle and trying to hit within a foot or two of space over the high part of the net with a short court going down the line as opposed to cross court, that's a bad option. And anytime you get cleanly beat in that direction, rather than being like, oh my, like being dramatic and be like, oh, you got me. Oh, the higher and higher and higher levels get in doubles, the more a net player actually celebrates getting beat in that direction. Because he or she knows I am on the radar of that baseline opponent. I am the one in charge of these points. They are responding to me. I am the one that's in the driver's seat. I'm not being reactionary. I'm doing proactive, intentional things that's drawing their attention, that's drawing the direction of shot, that's forcing a low probability attempt down my line. And yet, you get to intermediate level of doubles or lower, and it's the exact opposite attitude. How can I please anything but getting beat down the alley? How can I avoid the embarrassment and the shame of getting beat down the alley? And if I could snap my fingers and just change one thing tactically about the game of doubles to help players be more successful, it would be to completely erase any fragment of this attitude. And the reason why, and this is a critical kind of final point here, the court is too wide. It's impossible for my partner to do a good job covering this and also do a good job of being involved in the middle. She can't be in both places at once. So you have to pick. You have to make a choice. Do I want to err towards being involved in easy targets and receiving easier balls to be a force in the middle and remove the most comfortable, safest, highest margin shot from my opponents? Or do I want to err on the side of shutting down the toughest shot on the court? And match after match, day after day, millions of tennis players choose the second one. They shut down the tougher one and they leave the easier target more exposed. And it is a choice. It is a choice. You have to pick. And can you do a good job of covering both all the time? No, you can't. You have to, and just to be fair, like you can't abandon the down the line shot. You can't be like, here you go, like over and over. And that's where faking comes into play. That's where planning poaches with your partner comes into play, so you're both on the same page so they can cover behind you. There's so many different tactical ways that we can mitigate, that risk. But this all starts with realizing and understanding you have a choice to make, and which choice you decide to go with. Am I going to be more involved in the middle, or am I going to be more involved towards the alley? That has gigantic implications as far as how much pressure, if any. If you frequently complain about long doubles points where the baseline players just exchange slow cross-court balls back and forth, it is the responsibility of the net players to do something about that and remove that option. It's up to you. And the more and more you're afraid of getting beat down the line, the more and more you allow yourself to feel embarrassed and ashamed whenever you do get beat down the line, the less likely you're going to be involved in the center, and the less effective you're going to be ultimately as a doubles player. So anyway, just thought this was a pretty funny example, very teachable moment, and hopefully this student remembers this lesson. I hope you do too, and I hope it helps you in your doubles results. Thanks for watching.